Meeting girls on the street is very simple and it's my favorite way to get laid. In this video you learn the best places to meet girls during the day. I'll share the exact openers I always use in Daygame so you can just copy me, and I'll show you how to eliminate your approach anxiety. Let's go. Hi, I'm David. I've been doing Daygame and pickup for more than 15 years all over the world. My first 30 lays I had in Germany, then I started traveling. I did Daygame in Moscow, in Yalta, Russia, in London, in Thailand, in Kiev before war, and recently in Brazil. And the reason why I prefer meeting girls during the day on the street rather than online or in a club is very simply, number one, there's just less competition. It's literally just you and the girl, no one else. Number two, looks don't matter nearly as much as they do online or in a club. Normal looks, well-groomed is enough. Number three, there's no time wasting. You don't sit crouched over your phone swiping for hours on end like an addict, especially if you don't have good photos. But the most important, number four, is that the quality of the girls I get from Daygame is at least 2 points higher than what I would ever get online. And that's why I think meeting girls on the street during the day is an unfair advantage for anyone who practices Daygame. But if you want to do it successfully, you need to prepare two things. Number one, your looks, and number two, your place, your fuck location. What it's gonna do is gonna decrease your rejection rate during daytime approach, and it's gonna increase your conversion from dates to lays. You're probably wondering why I have all this stuff in here. You're gonna find out in a minute. But first, let's talk briefly about how to quickly improve your looks and your place for Daygame. First, your looks. Don't listen to the dating coaches who are trying to tell you it's all about game, looks don't matter. It's bullshit. Of course looks matter, but they don't matter as much, like I said before. For daytime approach, normal looks are enough, but of course the more you improve your looks, the better. So here are the 3 simple hacks you can do to instantly improve your looks and reduce your rejection rate when approaching. Number 1, get a haircut. Girls love a new, fresh haircut. If you're balding, shave your head. If it looks good, you can keep it, or you can go with a hairpiece. They look amazing nowadays. Number 2, make sure your clothes are clean and fit well. If you don't have any cool clothes, a very simple and cheap way to get them is to go to Zara. Zara, what they do is they just copy expensive famous brands which look good, but they do it for cheap. So you can spend just a couple of hundreds of bucks and you have a great outfit. Look for something classy, maybe a blazer, a nice shirt, maybe something in oversized, some nice classy pants. They have a lot of great shoes there. I definitely recommend it. Number 3, get a necklace and a cool watch. Cool means classical. Always go with classical and elegant. You can't go wrong with that. And girls will definitely appreciate it. So, talking about necklace, this one is super simple. It's from Fossil and girls always like to ask me about it. What is it? Is it a USB stick? Is it something else? And I always tell them I have cocaine in here. So, it's kind of a peacocking technique. You can use it. Girls are curious. They love all this stuff and they like elegance. And the last one, number 4, a bonus tip is get some good fragrance. That's why I have this stuff right here. It's Acqua Gigio by Giorgio Armani. Every single girl liked the stuff. They even like it so much that they spray it on themselves when leaving my place. It's my favorite. You can also go with Bleu de Chanel. A lot of girls love it. I personally don't like it as much. And there's another brand which is very popular. Girls really love it. Is Sauvage by Dior. It has an ingredient which is kind of like a pheromone. It's called ambroxan, kind of makes you more attractive. So this stuff is actually a no-brainer. It's 3 attraction points. You literally go from here to here just by smelling better. It's a simple hack, but not all of guys use it. So again, unfair advantage. And by the way, if you need help with any of that, if you book my coaching, one of the first steps will be that we will go through your wardrobe, through all your clothes one by one. And if you don't have cool clothes, we can just go shopping together and buy you some cool stuff from Zara or from wherever. Oh, and I forgot something, definitely take care of your beard situation. Just tell your barber to make something cool out of it or shave it. So get a haircut, take care of the beard situation, get some cool clothes which fit well and are clean, get some nice fragrance. Overall, it will make you just more attractive and more trustworthy, and girls will be more likely to come back with you at your place. And that brings me to the next point. The next thing to prepare is your place, your location, the place where you will bring girls to. And you definitely will if you follow all my advice from my videos or if you do my coaching. The better you prepare your place, and that's why I have all this stuff here, the easier it will be for you to get laid. And the leading question is, how can my place help me get laid? The requirement number one is that it's clean. For some unexplainable reason, girls just love it if your place is clean, especially the bathroom. So use it. Number two, have some alcohol ready. Some beer, wine, Jack Daniels, cola, even if it's just for the girl. If you don't drink, it's okay, but always have it ready, because just holding a glass of anything relaxes and helps the party atmosphere. And speaking of the atmosphere, number three, make sure you have some dimmable lights, or you have a lamp which you can turn on instead of the bright main light. Bright main light is always bad for seduction, it just makes you alert. Your light should have a similar intensity and brightness like, let's say, in a bar. Okay, number four, definitely have some nice music ready on your phone or on your computer. Music relaxes and helps the atmosphere, and what I always use is the Radio Record app. It's a Russian app, it's free, you can use it anywhere in the world. It has all the musical genres you need. Usually I go with deep, innocence, chill out, chill house, minimal, stuff like that. Okay, number five, condoms. If you use them, have them everywhere within reach. I personally don't use condoms as much, and it's a topic for another video, but when I used to do it, I would spread them everywhere, between the pillows in my couch, in my pockets, on the counter, everywhere, just to not interrupt the seduction process. Number six, have some massage oil visible somewhere near your bed, near your couch, so the girl sees it, and she will probably ask you why you have it there, and then you tell her that you're good at giving massages. Then she wants a massage, you give it to her, and it's a good transition into seduction. And if the girl doesn't ask about it, you can bring it up yourself. Girls absolutely love massages. Okay, number seven, it's optional but very helpful in seduction. All this stuff that you see on my table, that's why I have it. So the trick is this, just buy a lot of BDSM items and spread them evenly in your apartment. It can be anything, it can be some vlogger. So I have this one, it has a form of a penis, and girls have this grabbing reflex, they always grab it, and you know where it's going, right? They want to play with it, they want to spank you. I also have some whips laying around, and they just get curious, and it's instantly a sexual atmosphere. You don't even need to sexualize, they will sexualize themselves. I also have some erotic books, I like to have them around. I never read them, and just okay, they're beautiful, but I don't need them. But what usually happens is, as soon as a girl enters my place and she sees a lot of stuff like this lying around, she wants to know what it's about. And yeah, this stuff, okay, this stuff I usually have on a counter. I don't have it laying around. But if they see such erotic books, what they do is they open it and they start reading it. And instantly you have the right topic to talk about. I don't even know what's inside. I have it for years, and girls absolutely love them. And before you know it, you transition into seduction. So all that stuff makes seduction easier, and it's difficult not to get laid in an apartment like this once you bring a girl to your place. Okay, let me put this stuff aside to not disturb you. Maybe let's put up this chick, or like this. And by the way, when a girl sees all that stuff in your place, what she thinks is, oh, that guy has to get laid. He gets pussy. And most likely he's an expert in all that stuff. So it's an instant DHV, demonstration of higher value. Alright, now you're prepared, you're ready to go. Now let's talk about going out and actually meet girls on the street. Now some guys think Daygame is dedicating a couple of hours every day and going out religiously, approaching girls and get numbers, but that's not quite the reality. Now in the beginning, in your learning phase, it's totally okay to go out a lot, to approach many girls, go on many dates, get many numbers and all that stuff, because you're learning. But once you have the skill, there's just no need to go out a lot for many hours and do it religiously like it's your work, unless you have a very high sex drive. I know a couple of guys, if they don't get it a couple of times a day, they go nuts. They need to do it a lot. But if you have a normal sex drive, like medium, like I do, there's just no need, because then you just have the skill and you can be just out and about doing your stuff. And if you see a hot girl, you just approach her, take the number and continue about your day, instead of specifically going out and do the approaches and get the numbers. For example, you're on your way to the supermarket supermarket, you see a girl, you approach her. And that's actually the exact way I got laid with my last girl. It was the same day lay. I was on my way to the supermarket and I see a beautiful sweet ass pass me by. And I, without thinking, just went there, and I was pretty horny. I opened her, we exchanged some information, I did some typical day game stuff, which I'm gonna teach you in a minute. Then it turned out we went to the same supermarket, so once inside, I suggested that we split ways, buy our stuff and meet later and cook together. And that's what we did, and I actually cooked for her 2 meals, and it was pretty yummy for her. So the end goal is to be out and about and just to have the skills to approach any girl, to make up a date and have enough contacts and numbers and options. But in the beginning it's okay to go out a lot because you're learning the skill to approach the girl, you learn what you say during the approach, you learn how to close the girl, how to make up a date, how to make an instant date, how to pull the girl. Once inside, how to do the seduction stuff, you're learning all that stuff, so it's okay to go out a lot and I recommend that you do it. And if you do one-on-one coaching with me, we go out in public together and I will make sure that you approach enough girls and learn the basics of the daytime approach. So if you need help, book a free call through the link in the description and we'll see which coaching option works best for you. So what do you actually do when you're out there and approaching? What's your strategy? A lot of guys make the mistake of focusing on approaches and numbers, and that's all they think about, and they always stay in the beginner phases. They never really get laid. So to avoid that, every time you go out, your main goal is to get dates right here, right now, if you have the time, or for tonight, or for some time in the future. So what you do is you just do as many approaches as needed to get a date right here, if you have time and she has time, or tonight or tomorrow or whenever. And only then you take the number. Only after you agreed upon a date, you give her the phone and tell her to type in the number. And by the way, don't take Instagram if you don't have a really cool Instagram. Just take the WhatsApp, it's the best. So that's the basic strategy, and now it's time to talk about where to approach and how to approach. The worst places, especially if you're a beginner, is any place with low traffic, low volume environment. Something like a small city, like a gallery, a library, where you're kind of on the spot for everybody to see. So in your learning phase, avoid places with low foot traffic. The best places to approach girls on the streets are definitely big cities with tons and tons of foot traffic. Ideally populations over 1 million. And then basically you can just walk around the city and there will be plenty girls to approach. But the highest concentration of girls will obviously be somewhere in the city center, near the shopping malls, and that's where you want to go. Or you go inside the shopping malls. But the key point is that it's a big city with a lot of foot traffic. A lot of girls going about their day, shopping, just being dreamy and horny during their ovulation window. And also one benefit of big cities is the feeling of anonymity, and thus you will just have less approach anxiety. Whereas in a small city, everyone knows everyone. If you do 10 approaches, you know all the girls, and of course you will have slightly higher approach anxiety. But also in a big city, a lot of guys struggle with approach anxiety, so let's talk about how you can easily eliminate it. When I just started out, I had massive approach anxiety, incredible. I would follow a girl for many blocks and never have the balls to talk to her. I was worrying that I'm too skinny, that my voice is too high, I had low confidence. But now, after working on myself so much, after doing so many approaches in all kinds of situations, I could care less. So here are a couple of quick, simple things you can use to reduce your approach anxiety. Okay, number one, NoFap forever. Okay, not forever, but at least for a time you're learning. In your learning phase, you need that horniness, and here's why. If you fap daily, you're gonna be just more soft here and here. You're gonna be less aggressive, you're gonna be less assertive, and you're gonna be overthinking everything. You're gonna be in your head all the time. So what you wanna do is, you wanna have your horniness higher than your anxiety. Ideally to a point where you see a nice ass and you just can't help but to go there. You see your legs going there themselves. Tip number 2. Do 5 minutes of positive visualization before going out. I have really good experience with visualization, especially in my learning phase. What I would do is I would do some breathing. I would imagine how I approach the girl and she's a little bit shy and looks into my eyes, then looks on the floor, and then we exchange context, or I have an instant date, and it instantly improves your mood before going out. Tip number 3 is to get out of your head by talking to a friend on a phone. Just get talkative, get bubbly, maybe listen to some music, drink some coffee. It will make it easier to approach girls. Tip number 4, if you can do it, do 3 warm-up approaches, because anyone who approached will tell you the first couple of approaches are the most difficult, but then once you've approached a couple of girls, it gets so much easier. You kind of discharge your anxious energy and instantly feel better. Okay, next, another little trick you can use to override your approach anxiety is to give your friend $50 or $100, whatever is of significant value for you, and you tell him that you only get it back after you do 5 approaches. And if you don't do any approaches, he will just burn it. So use it if necessary. Alright, but the easiest way to get rid of your approach anxiety is to go out with someone who has tons of experience, who has done a gazillion of approaches already, and who knows how to push you, how to motivate you. You can work with me one-on-one. We will go out in public and I will make sure that you do your approaches. I have my ways. I already helped many guys do their first and second and 10th approaches. After a day of approaching with me together, you will be another person. So you know the deal, book a free call through a link in the description and we'll see how I can help you. Alright, next, another reason for approach anxiety is not knowing what to say during the approach. What are the first words you need to say to open the girl, to start the conversation? So that's what we're gonna talk about now. Here are the 3 simple openers that I always use in any part of the world, no matter where I am. Just use those 3, they work amazingly. Number 1, excuse me, I just wanted to say that you look beautiful. Hi, I'm David. That's all. Number 2, excuse me, do you speak English? I just wanted to say that you look pretty. I'm David. And number 3, it's one of my favorites and it works with any girl of any nation. I call it the "you look Russian" opener. You just say, hey, excuse me, do you speak Russian? And that's your opener. Now the funny thing is, this opener works not only with Russian girls but with any girls, because if she's Russian and you guessed it right, she will be amazed, like, oh, how you know it? Is it my clothes? And you can tell her something, it's the nail. Usually I tell him, okay, it's the nails or the jewelry. Now if she's not Russian, she will react in one of 2 ways. She will either say, oh really, I never heard that, why do you say so? And you just tell her something like, your nails, your jewelry, whatever, doesn't matter. Or she will say, oh, I hear that all the time, why is it so? Maybe I have some Slavic genes in my family tree. And instantly, in any case, you have an interesting topic to talk about. I've literally banged hundreds of girls by using these simple, stupid openers. Just "you look beautiful" opener or the "you look Russian" opener. And no, you don't need to speak Russian for this, just continue in English, that's all. Now there's a misconception with a lot of guys. They think that an opener has to be interesting, an opener has to be original, it has to impress her in some way. No, it hasn't. An opener has only 2 functions. First, to open her, and second, to show intent. That's all. Just keep it simple. And by the way, there's a free PDF for you to download along this video where I list all the openers and a bunch of other important information from this video. So grab it, it's yours. Alright, so this is how you open the girl and start a conversation, but what do you say next? What do you say after the opener? It's very simple. After the opener, you just want to do 3 things. Number 1, you find out about her logistics. Where she's going, where she comes from, does she live in this city? So you have some basic information exchange, nothing special. Number 2, you make some cool self-introduction, some self-presentation. Just tell her something about you, what you're doing in the city, what's your job, and so on. And the third one is strategic. You decide what you're gonna do with the girl right now. You either go with her on an instant date if you have time and if she has time, or you make up a date for later, for tonight for example, or for tomorrow, or for some time in the future. And only then you take her number. You just open the WhatsApp application, tap on create new contact and give it to her, and she does the rest. And like I said before, your strategy is to focus on dates, and after you do so many approaches, you will naturally collect many numbers. Now let's say you do it and you do get a date, so your next question might be, okay, now I have a date, but what do I talk about on that date? And that's what my next video is about. There you'll learn the best topics to talk about on a date, topics to avoid, and I'll teach you how to never run out of things to say. So subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah!
Хочешь, мама добавлю?
Подожди, Тома? А, как Тома? Интересно. У меня лучший друг Томас. Будет это. Только, да?
Ну, такое старое заведение. Как я понимаю, мой